Yeah.
Looks good. What was that, Al Green?
No, it's a band called The Heavy.
Oh.
Al Green. All right, that wasn't on my bingo card.
Yeah. It just sounded like his voice, his or Smokey Robinson a little bit.
Fair enough.
Thought I can pick up on the voice. Apparently, I can't.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. So welcome in there, boys and girls. This is definitely not footballed. Let me change that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It happened. It's fine. Yeah. So this is as the logo says now, the X's and O's life, and this is Rich,
This is Jermaine.
and you look confused.
I got an error down here. It just says recording error. Open the recording tab to learn more. I don't know what that means.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah. So, this was a bit of a, I wouldn't say a thrown in together out of nowhere show, but I know we didn't record last week, and that was due to something. I don't remember. Something happened. Look, it's that time of the year where things kind of pop up, and it's not as easy as one would like.
No, we both wasn't feeling it. Well, no. Wife had finals.
Oh yeah, finals. Yeah, finals, and then you were swamped with work.
Yeah, I had a lot.
At the gay porn shop. Yeah, you were swamped with work.
The gay porn shop.
Yeah.
No.
They were.
No, I had like 2 reports.
Management was fucking you. I get it.
Yeah, I had 2 reports that I had to get out by Friday, and like one was pressing towards Thursday, so I'm scrambling. Yeah, it was.
No, I get it, man. It's that end of the year, and when you're in management, you got the end of the year things, and I completely get it. It just ended up working out for both parties there, but what I kind of brought up, and I figured it kind of just worked out in that way, because most things with this podcast, most things happen for a reason, right? And I know that sounds very, I don't know, silly or whatever you want to call it, but I just think things happen for a reason. And I had the idea of, and we've already been over kind of this before in this is going to sound weird, in previous years. We've kind of talked about resolutions and how they are very dumb to us. We don't like them. This is not that. Now, the name.
It's not like we don't like resolutions. It's just we don't like people's dedication towards them. I mean,
yes.
I'm all for people. Yeah, I'm all for people bettering themselves, doing things to change. Make drastic changes for the better or the greater good for them. But to state them and don't hold to them and don't live up to the hype, then it's pointless.
Because you set yourself up for failure, man. Like, you were literally saying, I'm going to do this. And then by like January 15th, I'm like, I'm going to do some heroin. It's like, what? No, that's not what you were supposed to do at all.
Yeah.
But this isn't a resolution show. It's not the end of the year wrap up thing. It's literally looking towards the future and saying, okay, personally, professionally, and I made up this word, and you're welcome, podcastily. Don't do that. It's Pittsburgh. That's what we do. We make up a word.
Podcastily.
Fine. Just kind of looking towards the next year and kind of what we would like to individually and collectively accomplish in our personal lives and our, professional lives, i.e. not this, and then podcastily this. So I just figured it would be a nice little, time for us to have 2 weeks to think on it and, really kind of put something together that we really can get behind, So there isn't really much of a format. I think we're going to kind of riff, but a lot of things are going to bleed into each other and what have you. So it's just going to be a discussion, but an actual, I wouldn't say formatted because I said it's not going to be formatted, but you know what I mean. If anyone that's been listening to the show, how we have no idea what the hell we're doing. Resolution. So, I would say personally, and to kind of just rehash an old wound here. The whole bullshit with Taylor. How he just bailed on the podcast, blocked me everywhere. No idea why. Just did some real bitch shit. I would say personally, what I'd like to do is kind of, I wouldn't say not hold grudges, but just kind of let things go, because it still irritates me. I'm not like thinking about it on a daily basis, no. But when I think about it, I am just full of fire. I know when initially it happened, I was just very inquisitive, whoa, what happened here? Now I'm like, let me fucking catch you outside, dude. Facts. Where I'm at.
So that escalated. That I mean,
yeah, just the more
the
I
time.
yeah,
The
it
first
did the
first you were
opposite of what
just
it should have
very,
done.
like you said, inquisitive and very curious as to why it
Forgiving and
happened.
like, come here, sweetie, I'll give you a hug. Now I'm like, yeah, you probably shouldn't come around here. Like, and it's weird because the whole, time heals all
Time
wounds
heals. Yeah,
thing.
it's supposed to go the other way around.
Ah, man, I got a fissure in this bitch. I got an infection. Like, it's just one of those weird, like, and I think it's mostly because he's still in the fantasy football thing, and he's locked. Like, it's fine. Like, he can't do anything. He can't do anything detrimental or anything like that. But the fact that I still have to see that, I think that's just like, and it's funny as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, I feel like I'm talking about an ex, but I'm not one that really kind of keeps a lot of friends, right? I don't let a lot of people in. I'm very selective and very particular. So I would say, in the general scheme of life, most people treat their significant others that way. I would say I lump those friendos into that, I guess, not to sound weird, but like that level of kind of like a passion for somebody. Like you have that. I don't have the word for it. So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
professionally and business wise, I mean, it is an ex. I mean, we're not talking about
yeah,
an actual relationship, as far as like, you know, heterosexual relationship or man or homosexual, anything like that. It's not like
right.
us physically attracted. I'm talking about as far as business wise and the ideas that we had, came together and
Yeah,
pretty much was going to
good
move
point.
forward with. That was a great idea for someone to about face. 360,
Yeah,
180, whatever degree you want to call it, is a complete turnaround. That becomes an X because, like, you
it's a betrayal, man. That's what it feels like. It's a betrayal. I think that's really what
figuratively,
it
you
is.
did
Like,
get in the bed. Figuratively, you did
yeah,
get in the bed on a business idea, and for someone to change that abruptly with no explanation, and you no
and owe me
longer deal
money,
with
by the way.
that, that is, I
Like
mean,
he stiffed me on 100 for the logo stuff. So I mean so and yeah, you're right. Like I didn't really take into account the professional part yet because I was probably going to get to that point as well. Or podcast. I think that falls under the podcastily. Uh,
bro,
um,
you can touch a little
yeah,
bit of all three. I mean, it can, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's. I think really what I want to work on, and I don't know really how I'm going to do it, because I don't really find myself in these types of situations where I have something to latch on to and let's say like grieve, but something
Well,
that would
you don't have
affect
multiple
me.
examples of examples of this exact scenario. It's not like,
Right.
it keeps happening and you have to get a hold of yourself and you have to, control your emotions. I mean, this doesn't come along every other
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean?
But I think just latching on to something and trying to convince yourself to let it go, but then still, I guess, having the inverse um, result of what time should be doing, like that feels like a problem to me. Like that seems like a character flaw or whatever you want to call it. Like I should be more and more, indifferent. Which I told you, I don't really hate. I don't hate people. I indifferent you, which in my eyes is like literally Rocky 4. If you die, you die. I don't care, and I mean that. That's not hyperbole. Like I when I indifferent you, you mean nothing to me.
Well, you don't have passion on either side. I mean, you're not wishing that they go out and get killed, but if
Right.
they do, you're not losing any sleep over it either.
Right. I'm very
So,
much like I'll hit you with the K text. Like, okay.
yeah.
Like and I know that sounds cold and whatever, but it's just kind of how I'm built. I feel like I'd rather not waste any energy on you at all than waste emotion. And maybe that's what bothers me about this. Maybe because when something whatever happens and it rekindles that frustration, I'm going against my kind of built-in mantra of I would very very much like to indifferent you. But for whatever
Yeah.
reason, you keep popping up, and I get it. It's probably because of the football thing, and
Yeah.
also and I will be 1,000,000,000% honest here. God, I sound like such a bitch with this, but it's very much just like an X thing. Like I don't have that closure. I don't have a reason why you dipped. Like if I had the reason, I'd make peace with it. But I have no idea. There is no reason, and then you just overtly blocked me everywhere. So even if I
So
could,
curiosity has
yes,
caused you to invest in emotion in it
yes, yes.
because it's you don't have the closure. I mean, it's. I
Does that
mean,
make me weird?
from a
Like,
person.
is it a weird take?
No, no, not at all. Um, I rather like we stated on previous posts. I rather someone to come straight out and lay it on the table that they hate me than
Yeah,
to force me to guess. Like it's
right.
yeah, that it takes longer. Um, I was dealing with this same not me, but a coworker at said job. I know you remember Avery, um, her and I know you remember Candace. They fell
Yeah,
out, and to this day, speaking to Avery, she still has no idea why Candace doing exactly what Taylor's doing. I mean, just stop talking to her, start blocking her on everything, and just fell out with her for no reason at all. She still to this day does not know. But for the people that you do know, she had another story where she fell out with somebody, but that's because she sent the wrong text to somebody, basically talking about the person, but sent the text to
oh shit.
them.
Oh no.
So, but she knows all it's closure. So her and that person don't mess with each other. They don't deal with each other, and both fine. And
But there's an
everyone
understand.
can
There's
move
why
on.
exactly because you know why, and I think that's the thing. And it bothered me a lot more before. The only time it really bothers me now is when, for whatever reason, like I had to go. I just wanted to check the teams real quick because I was curious to see for the fantasy football.
The matchups, and of course, you got to
Right,
still monitor because you got to see what the order is going to be for the draft next year. So you have to look at the
right.
bottom tier teams.
Right. And I just popped onto his team, and he just pretty much put all of his scrubs in. Didn't really roster a respectable squad. Um, just whatever. Fine. I mean, I could very realistically go in there and change that and do all that, but I'm not gonna do that. But seeing that name just rekindled that kindling of like, dude, you're
Yeah, I
such a
wouldn't
cunt.
touch it at this point. If you go in and
No,
do anything on the
no,
back end, it would seem petty on your part, and that's not your character.
exactly. Yeah,
Don't even do it. Yeah,
yeah. I
don't
mean,
do that. It's feeding
it
into whatever bullshit that maybe he's cooking up. So don't.
yeah, and I so that's kind of my personal, goal. Just let be okay with not knowing, I guess, and just let that stuff drop off because it's not benefiting me. I guarantee he's not thinking about me.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, clearly. But I'm on my end occasionally wondering, not losing sleep, not waking up thinking about it. No. But it's just like, what the fuck happened, man? Like, just man to man. I think that's my kind of thing. Like, man to man, like, nut up and just be like, yeah, I just didn't like XYZ and what happened, something. But, and I get it. You
I
don't
mean, because
need,
y'all had you had a good thing going. It was just
yeah,
like, I mean, it's not like you had invited him to the pod and y'all were getting ready to start. No, you were full swing in it. You got along very well. Y'all had some good guests, and sounds like the shows were going well. And 360. I mean, that's
yeah,
weird. That's really weird. Really weird.
yeah.
Um,
And I want to work on that. And anyone that watches, which by the way, we didn't do the live recording again because it seemed like one, the numbers actually increased. So props to Bob here on his idea because it is apparently popping up on people's feeds now, and um, that's good to know. Um, we'll still occasionally do the live things, but we're gonna need to garner an audience for that to be worth I wouldn't say worthwhile. Like the people that pop in aren't worthwhile. It's not what I'm saying, but from a
yeah.
just distribution standpoint, unless you are setting up to be notified, you're not going to know we're going live. So it's kind of just makes more sense from a business standpoint. But what about you, personally here? What's something that you kind of
Yeah. Personally, myself, goals in the future. Um, it's funny how you brought up the word that was the buzzword for me was to continue my journey on indifferency. And that's towards my ex.
I like it.
I
Okay.
mean, like
Yeah.
it's as time goes on, it's less and less emotion, and it's really, you know, starting to get to the point of, hey, I'm not upset anymore. Not, I'm not upset. I'm not happy. I'm just continuing to work into the differency. Um, and on top of that, and she's been reaching out a lot more lately, asking for help with kids, I'm trying to make sure my kids in a good place. But um, yeah, personal goal, just continue on it because I told you when you first, relayed this information and when we talked about, your ex a long time ago, and you said, I don't feel
Yeah.
anything. I don't despise her. I don't, of course, I don't love her. I feel nothing. And I was just like, man, I wish I can get to your point because at that time I was so emotionally invested in
Yeah.
that, coming out of that. And I thought that, it would be years, and I mean years before I can reach that level. Here we are. What are we in about 2 years?
Yeah.
And
It's still a
I'm on my
boatload of
way.
time, but you were there for how long though? That's the thing. Like that there isn't really an algorithm or an algebraic equation for how long it's going to take. Plus, everybody's, individually, their emotional and mental, fragility and strengths are different. Um, dude, I remember with, the ex, and I was stuck still living with her, right? So I would wake up in an emotional roller coaster, go to work, and like randomly talk to people, like fucking make an absolute ass of myself, like because I'm looking for perspective because I'm such a fucking devastated wreck, and then go home with all of these ideas and thoughts,
And try
and
to
it
make
was
sense of it.
right, and it was Groundhog Day, and literally 2 days after I left, after I moved out, I was like, oh yeah, fuck that bitch, I'm all set. Um, so it is much different now. Mind you, I was only with her for a few years. You got decades.
Yeah,
So
25 plus. Mm-hmm.
like that is and I remember you saying that, and I I kind of put a pin in that. I was like, all right, man, look, I hope you can get to my point. I don't know if that is how, because I've never had to see you deal with something like that. I don't know how you're gonna approach it, how that's gonna affect you, and I'm pretty proud that you were able to get to that point of, nah, you don't have a hold on me. I mean, it's kind of, I've dealt with it as much as I can or as much as I'm willing to do, and
Yeah,
now
when it was
you're
fresh and new, it was definitely negative thoughts. But first it was, I can't believe you did this to me. It was a sad, removing me from my comfort zone, my comfort place.
yeah,
Everybody, change. We talked about how change can be is usually bad at first, but it's good in the long run. Um,
yeah.
and it went from I can't believe you did this to me, and I'm sad and I'm alone, to anger. Fuck you, bitch. I mean, you did this.
Stages of grief,
You're a
man. I'm
whore.
telling you.
You're this. You're that. And now it's look at you. Just oh, a text here and there. Like, oh, okay. Have a good one. I just no emotion even
It's a
that could
work
creep in.
acquaintance at this point. It's a work acquaintance, and like those are. It's I don't
Less
know.
and
Like
less
I mean,
emotion.
yeah, it's that stuff weighs you down, man. That stuff weighs you down. It doesn't allow you to really progress and heal and do what you need to do for you. And you haven't been able to do for you for 25 plus years, you know? So, I mean, that whole journey that you went through is insane. And I know we've kind of told the story to a degree, on the pod. I don't know if you'd ever want to kind of go on the whole Patreon thing and maybe actually tell the story, back to, front to back. That's up to you. That's not my call. Um, but yeah, I mean, just it's I'm not even surprised that both of our personal things are indifference. It's just not even surprised.
It's still a work in progress. I mean, neither one of
Oh
us is
yeah.
perfect. Like, I mean, I
Let's
mean,
say we
like I
always
said,
like to joke that we're the same person. That's what I'm saying. Like we just
it's
say like the
less and
same
less
person.
emotion, but that little bit of hint sometimes it does
Yeah.
creep up.
Mhm.
I still find myself, with a couple "fuck you, bitch" here and there, but it's not as frequent, and it's not as mind consuming, mind
Right.
and
It's not
time
heavy. It's
consuming.
not as
It's
heavy.
just
It's not
like
like weighing you
it's just
down.
it's a quick glance here and there. Like you said, the thing that triggered yours was just looking at the fantasy teams. Like me,
Yeah.
I might be going through my photos and it gets triggered, or
Yeah.
just recently I was looking at, the photos when we were at your wedding, and
Oh,
just looking in the face, I was like, see it in your face, you cheating bitch.
oh
Who
man.
knows what was going on at that time? But every once in a while, you get a photo or a memory or something. It
You
triggered it.
went
So
somewhere, you go somewhere, right?
I'm
Exactly.
not completely, indifferent, and I'm not completely unaffected. But it's getting better and better. And
That's all you can ask for, man. That's all you can ask for is progress, because there are plenty of people that would not be able to handle what happened. And once again, we're not going to rehash it. Once again, you have the option at a later date if you decide to do the whole real start, from step one to wherever you're at now story. If you want to, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. Up to you. But it's trauma. At the end of the day, it's trauma. Your thing was traumatic. I mean, I guess you can say my thing was traumatic. I mean, I don't really draw that parallel from. I mean, the principle is still there, but anything I feel like that can negatively affect you and affect your mood, and
mm-hmm.
months down the road, I feel like that is a certain level of trauma, and I feel like that's a buzzword for today's generation. But
and the longer you're in a certain situation, or you spend time in a either business relationship, not professional, either a business relationship or just a you know um, heterosexual relationship, the longer you're in that situation, it cuts deeper. So I
yeah,
understand, and not saying that within a little bit of time that you had dealing with Taylor or Babs, that somehow, you know, it wasn't as devastating as me dealing with something for 25 years. But most of the time,
yeah,
because it's a long time,
right.
it's hard to shake something that you've you got complacent with.
Well, there's principle and
You
then there's
know,
severity. And I think that's the thing. Like, from a principle standpoint, we both dealt with a betrayal. We both dealt with an abrupt ending of something. Your thing just was with a butcher knife. My thing was with a butter knife. You know, like that's kind of how, But I just think it's
cut deep.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's interesting. I mean, because we have two different, we're two different people, even though we are generally the same person. But like, we are still two. We make that joke all the time, but we are still different people. We do think a lot alike, and we make we have this weird. I'm quite sure at some point, like I have some kind of amount of your blood in me, and vice versa. I don't know. There's something there. Um, but I think that at the end of the day, um, just we're 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 definitely the same, where we don't let people in, and if we do, we're very much like down to ride, like we're like ready to go to war. So,
Mhm.
um, and obviously your thing was much different, but I think from a principle standpoint, you allow someone in your circle, and then they break that circle, and you almost kind of wonder, you almost kind of start questioning yourself. It's like, is this my fault? Like,
Yeah,
did I make a
like
bad read? Did I make a bad call on this?
did
Should I
I
have
did
not?
I let somebody in too soon, or
Right.
and you question yourself, and as well as you question that person. To Not saying that my friendship is gold or platinum or any other metal that's of extreme value, but how could you take advantage of me letting you in and basically play around with something valuable and just let it drop and explode on the ground? Like, you had no
And maybe that's the thing. Maybe the other party doesn't realize that. Maybe, and you don't need to have a disclaimer for people. I don't owe anybody anything, nor does that person owe anybody anything either. So it goes both ways.
Certain
But
people are brought up different ways. So I mean, some people, they don't care about lying to,
yeah,
someone that they're close to because they just think it's cute or it's funny. I just lied to them, and meanwhile, that person takes it very seriously. Like, hey, man, you can probably get away with a lot of things with me, but don't lie to me straight to my face. And
right.
you know, like you
And I'm
said,
not
it's
saying it's
almost
like a
like you feel like you upset at yourself for allowing it to
right,
happen. And you're saying to
and
yourself, I'm better than that. Like, how did I
right,
allow this to happen? Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's a great point because you think about it. I mean, me, I'm like, okay, tight circle, very tight circle. Um, from a friendship standpoint, now I'm actually going to get in bed with you in business and play with money and scheduling and, you know, literally work around your schedule. And, you know, I'm very, very welcoming and very, amicable about, needing to move things around, things like that. You know that. I guess maybe in my head that, you know, that person doesn't either they don't care about that or they don't realize like maybe me just bouncing out of this person's life is nothing to me. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And not to say if you are going to make that decision, you need to take that into account, but there is like that, you know, humanity part that you would think would click in and be like, hey, really quick, I'm going to go ahead and hit the don't be a cunt button. So before you make the decisions, maybe think this through. Just, from a person to person standpoint, a humanity standpoint, maybe if you are going to cut ties with this person from a friendship standpoint, from a business standpoint, just give them like a 2 sentence blurb of like, hey, here's why I'm not doing this. I'm going to go. I'm going to go no contact, and then that's all set. I may have a question after that, but at least from a human to human standpoint, whether you think I deserve it or not, you were person enough to say, hey, here's your reason. This is why this is done. But
Yeah.
I
Some
don't know.
people are cut from a different cloth where, like I said, the opposite end or the opposite party doesn't see the seriousness in the relationship or the business partnership that has been bred or that has been, displayed. It's like, okay, maybe that person thinks from a standpoint of, all right, this is fun, this is cute, but I'm moving on. Let's block them. Like it's nothing to them. Like it means nothing.
Right.
But meanwhile, it means the utmost importance to someone that doesn't allow the walls down to let you in the first place. And
Like I don't even want
some
to do another show. Like that's my thing. Like I'm almost hamstrung because I'm like, I really enjoy talking about baseball. I really really enjoy it. But I'm also like, I don't want to do that. Like I mean, do I not want to do that, or am I still like quote unquote grieving? Like it's just
yeah,
it's
I
just a
don't know.
weird, well, traumatic thing that has longer lasting, and that may make me a weak person. I don't know. I don't know, but
Let me ask you this: since we're
yeah,
both in the same situation, is it fair to the next person that comes along? Like, let's suppose you run into somebody that does want to, that does talk baseball, and he wants to. Yeah, it does be a he. It could be a she for all you women out there that was getting ready to attack me. All right, whatever pronoun you want.
no, I
Um,
was gonna say, here we go. Just 5 minutes later, we
is
covered all the
that fair?
pronouns.
Is
All
that
right.
is that fair to that person to just cut them off and just say because of what happened in the past, I will not give you the chance. I mean, same thing with me. Is it going to be fair to whoever I end up, with or dating or dealing with or being with in the future? It's like I'm going to be like judging this person with heavy scrutiny.
And
Is
it's
that
so
fair to
ridiculous
them?
how it's the same fucking thing. It's so weird. It is literally like a romantic relationship. God damn. Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, are you talking about a girl? Oh no, you're talking about the podcast still. Okay, because it's
Yeah,
so similar. Like they just follow
but I
that
mean,
exact thing. But you're right.
we're in the same example. It's just that mine is a romantic, well, not romantic, whatever. It was a relationship between a man and a woman, and
Yep.
yours is a business, partnership between, two guys that that love
Yep.
baseball, and it's like it's the same. I mean, it's different scenarios, but it's very similar outcomes and very similar emotions tied to it.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, I think I would have to get to the point where I want to talk about it, but like it's like quitting a job and having to start a new one. It's like I don't want to start from the bottom. Now I gotta see how you operate,
Go
see
through
what you like to do.
training. I gotta train
Right,
myself
like
to like you, and I gotta train you to like what I like. It's a
what
new
are you
job.
able to
Yeah,
do? What are you willing to do? What's your attitude about things? Like,
give and take, give and take,
it's
give and take.
yeah. I would say until you deal with once again relationship stuff, until you deal with your baggage, no, it's not fair. It's not fair because you on my end of the spectrum, you were basically waiting for that person to drop off again because you've been hurt before. So are you gonna put 100% into it? Probably not until you're ready,
Probably not.
because
Probably
then the
not.
show quality is gonna suffer. And I know the likelihood of something like that happening again is so stupidly unlikely, but for someone that is very particular, because I told him like 3 times, 4 times before we even did it. Um, we should do a podcast, man. We should really do this. And he finally broke. He's like, yeah, I've been wanting to do it, man. You want to do it? I'm like, yes, let's go. Man up, let's go. And I held his hand. so, um, so yeah, I mean, the likelihood of doing another one and it falling apart like that is insanely unlikely.
Probably not gonna happen. It's just like you already mentioned and forementioned that. Are you gonna give it the effort that it deserves?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's not fair to me or
are
the other person or the
you
show
gonna
or
be
people that are
treating that
listening.
person like they almost have to complete an obstacle course to gain your trust? And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. And it's just, God damn, it's so much like a relationship. It's so stupid. I hate it. Oh, I hate being a person. Stupid. I want to be an animal. I want to go be a deer. Um, but yeah, no, I really like, your personal goal as well. I mean, they're definitely on that parallel kind of roadway. But at the end of the day, I think it just ends up being personal growth. And I think that is important. Just you can do that in July. It doesn't have to be in December or January. You can do that any time of the year. That's also why we don't like resolutions, because it's like, well, this is the line in the sand. Shut up. You can if you don't want to be a fat ass, don't be a fat ass tomorrow.
yeah,
Start your journey.
yeah.
But
It doesn't depend on a calendar turning of 1 month to the other. I mean, like
yeah, it's not
really.
like a magic thing like, oh, now everything's gonna be easier. It's like, no, now you're just motivated because you're, for whatever reason, have been groomed to think that January 1st everything changes. It doesn't. Just doesn't. Like there is a
December
very high
31st,
likelihood.
December 31st, you're going to be this asshole that lives in the gutter, and then you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're gonna be, living in a mansion, and everything
Right.
is changed, and
Gotta
music
have a
is
mane of
little
hair.
harps is playing and shit, like broom, broom, broom. Like it's just, a wonderful world, because it went from,
Wake up, your dick is
one
6 inches
24-hour
bigger. You're like,
period to the
what?
next.
What is happening? Like, it's just, it's a weird thing. Like, it'd be different if you woke up on January 1st and it was 40 degrees warmer. It's like, oh, well, maybe it is a new fucking day. Hold on here.
Yeah.
Let's take chances are it's going to be 5 degrees difference. Either way, that's probably what's going to happen. And I only say 5 degrees because it is Pittsburgh, and that feels very normal because the last 2 days it was awful. And then I literally went to Walmart today in a very light hoodie and shorts and sandals. So that's where life is. And my December week before Christmas garb of shorts and sunglasses. That's what that was. So, professionally, well, this will be quick. Find something I want to do. Just find something I want to do, and I don't really know what that is. Really, really don't. Really don't. Have been off for about a month and a half, and I hate it. I absolutely despise it. And unfortunately, the job market is shit, and it's a bad time of the year to try to look for something on top of
Oh
that.
yes, yeah. I didn't even
So,
think about the time of the year. Yeah,
yeah,
no
it's real
one's
bad.
no one's ramping up hiring at the close out the year. It's the fourth quarter. Budgets
Yeah,
have already been turned in. Yeah, no one's looking to hire right at this very moment now.
yeah. And a lot of the things I'm getting back are just really bad things or really below my pay grade,
Yeah.
or insurance things, which I don't want to do. So
Qualification too
yeah,
overqualified.
yeah, yeah. Um, like offer me $10 more or less an hour than my kind of asking rate. I'm like, uh, so
You're not even in a. You're not even in the $2 or $3 window. You're in ten. You're
right.
$10
Yeah.
off.
They're like, well, we can go up to, we can go up to about 18. I'm like, um, do you not know how to numbers? Because that is nowhere close to where I need to be getting paid. So, um, just I guess maybe professionally, the best way to really put it is to really kind of figure out what I really actually want to do. Um, I mean, I would love to do this full time. Have a bevy of different things I'm doing with this. That would be great. I would love that. Really,
But you're
really, I
at an
really,
age
really
now
enjoy it.
where you're not looking for a job. You're looking for a career, right? I
Right.
mean, like this is not like, oh, let me just get a job over summer just to get some
Right.
extra groceries in the house. No, we're trying to a
Yeah.
defining moment, a defining career. Yeah, it's pretty much once
So
you get past 30, 35. Yeah, it's career time.
yeah, you're not working gigs anymore. You're not looking to start somewhere to be at the bottom. It's just not what you're looking to do. But yeah, kind of short and sweet there. Nothing really kind of crazy. Just figure out what I want to do and do something with it. So kind of boring, but you know. What about you?
Mine's, yeah, mine professionally. As stated before, I was hired as a supervisor, team leader. Got promoted pretty much
Clean up
into
crew.
a facilitator type of role, and been at this role since October, early October. So
Yeah.
I only got about 2 months in, so I'm going to continue to. I'm getting rave reviews and pats and
Nice.
attaboys and great
Yeah.
jobs. So I'm
Which I'm not
continue down that
surprised at. I
path.
mean, I know how you operate, man. You're very much about your business. You're one of those rare people that one, you don't need supervision. You're very, very, very self sufficient. You work better actually on your own.
Yeah. Somebody not watching me, my every
Yeah.
move, and I got to report in. I hate it. Yeah.
And you have that very specific skill where you can dick around and still get everything you need done at a very high level. A lot of
Absolutely.
people cannot do that. They get to the dick around part and they're like, "Oh no, mistakes were made." It's like, yeah, you forgot the other part of that equation, didn't you? It's like, I did. So you have that very, very important and very rare skill set, which I always respected. I always looked up to that. I always appreciated that about you because it was like you're able to be that dude, but also be that dude, And it's I, I don't know that there should be more people in management, in supervisor roles, in leadership roles that you know can conform to how you handle your business because you allow yourself to enjoy as much as you can. It's not a job; it's a job, not a hobby. But you're able to
Yeah.
enjoy yourself at work, but also when you're like, "Hey, I got to get shit done. Please go die in a fire." You're like, "All right, yep, fair enough. There we go. I understand."
He said,
Great.
"Go die in the fire." I mean, if you want to use the whole nursery
That's what your
rhyme,
face says. That's what your face says when you're in that place. You're like, "Hey, uh, there is a gasoline ring in the corner. Now I know you want a cigarette, right? Go in the
yeah,
corner, light your cigarette, and do not bother me. Okay, bye bye."
yeah. And that nursery rhyme with the whole grasshopper and the ant, the ant was always working and preparing, and the grasshoppers playing around. And then come the wintertime, I'm a little bit of both because I don't
Yeah,
want to be that person that's all about work. He's an
right,
asshole. All he does is work. Like he never stops. I'm not that dude.
right.
But
Yeah,
like I said, like you said, I'm not that clown that just oh no work gets done. I'm just all play. Like I find the balance. Like you said,
mhm.
I might push the fuck around, goofing off to the limit. But like you said, when it's time to
When
get
it's
the
time
duties and the
to get
tasks done,
done,
I
yes,
I have the ability to shut off the entire world and
yes.
get that task done.
And
You
some
said you
people
got
probably
that
look
look
at that and
like
say it's
go
bad.
die in a fire.
Well, I mean, look, but once again, it's also knowing having that interpersonal relationship with somebody as well. Like you're able to pick up on those clues. You're able to understand, hey, it's now game time. Um, well, why were you so fun? Because I didn't have to get shit done then. Now I got to
Yeah.
get shit done like that. No, there is. I'm not being mean. I'm about my business.
Yeah, I would. I mean, in the management, we write reviews and stuff on people's raises and stuff. So yeah, we all laughy, jokey, and then come around like end of November, going into December. I don't have any jokes for you. I got work that I'm doing, and like you said,
Hmm. And
I
I
got
pick my
that go
spots.
fuck off face.
Hmm. And I pick my spots because it's
We
playoff
we ain't
time for
got
the
nothing
football.
to laugh about. Yeah,
And
like I mean, I
so
might
you
have
have to
bullshitted
pick
the
your
first and
spot.
second quarter, but we're
Mm-hmm.
turning with 7 minutes left in the third, going into the fourth. It's game
Mm-hmm.
time,
Yeah, you're
and
down
I'm
by
not
10.
playing.
We burn our other two timeouts because the goddamn headset wasn't working and play wouldn't come in. So now we got one
Yep.
timeout. We got 22 minutes to score 10 points. Fuck me,
Yeah.
So I turned that
I
a
just went
whole. I
from
saw that play happening too. I'm like, somehow Dan Campbell's in this situation right now, and Jared Goff. I don't. It's fine. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
no. I mean, somehow I'm first, second quarter. I'm Jameis. I'm throwing picks, but come third, fourth. I'm Tom Brady. It's sufficient. It is
Yeah,
time to win this game.
yeah.
No jokes.
Like you,
For real.
you got into garbage time and fucked around and won by a field goal. It's like, oh, I was unfamiliar with your game, sir. All right, well, now you know. But yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's an
But
awesome skill set. I, I, I mean, I haven't seen yet your new position here, but I cannot imagine it's any different. Which,
yeah,
I mean,
it's just the
intro can take
products
it.
are different. I mean, it's kind of like similar responsibilities. It's just, one product is, was selling this type of product, and now it's collecting on this type of product. It's different products, kind of the same way that you arrive at your goals. But yeah, I mean, professionally, I want to continue on this path and see, you know, if the promotion continue to come. I mean, I want to keep growing and keep getting better and learning the ins and outs of the business I'm in. Previous ed job, you got into management, and you're John Malkovich. The ceiling's right here, and everyone's walking around, and you can't stretch your neck up and go anywhere. Pretty much was stuck in the same position, complacent for 15 years. Like, there is no upper echelon. But
and things happen for a reason though too, because honestly, you probably didn't want to. That ceiling that you kept hitting your head on, I think that was, that was kind of
like,
God's
stay down
foot
there.
saying, like, stay down, dude. What are you doing? Sit your
like
ass
if you
down.
put your head up, through that roof, it's gonna get chopped off.
I was gonna say there was a lawnmower up there, and this dude does not give a fuck. He will Rick Moranis you. Let's go.
Yeah.
Honey, I Shrunk the Domain.
Yeah. So I got complaint. I mean, so continue on that path. One other thing I want to do professionally, but it's kind of personal, but just to be in a professional, gotta get back in that car. Gotta get back on the road.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunate circumstance, had my car totaled. License was already, questionable, but gotta get back into a vehicle.
With a hamstring, I get it. We'll check the practice report on Friday. See how it goes.
Get into a vehicle, get back to driving and living like the rest of the society.
I mean,
so those are two things. I mean, and that works. Yeah. So that works from a person. It's more personal, but even a professional. I mean, you don't want to be the person at the office that always needs picked up, or they got to ride with somebody all the time. You want to have your own transportation. It's a better look.
Big boy.
Yeah. So those are my two professional. Is just continue on the path. I thank the Lord that short my time I've been promoted, and I want to continue to show the company my value and see where it takes me.
I like it. All right. So the fun one. So I feel like the first one was kind of dark and dismay and kind of the second one was like, yeah, cool stuff. This one is the fun.
Hurry up.
So podcast elite. So what I'm going to start doing is paying more attention and getting more kind of production value out of things, paying more attention to stuff. I guess following through on a lot of things that I say that I'm going to do, and then I just end up pushing it to the back burner. So one definite thing I'm going to start immediately is every Saturday I'm just going to put out a little solo show on Patreon. Right? It's a little solo show. Nothing crazy, nothing big. Really kind of start reaching out to other people too, to get people kind of on the show, whether that be football or this. I never really put too many feelers out for this one. I got a few people on the baseball thing. And I think that just because seemingly the ring, the circle that I ran in were all predominantly baseball people. So it was just like an easy thing, It was very superficial relationships. So it's like, okay, hey, look, you have a giant viewership. Let me bring you on so I can get some of your viewership. Just simple business. But I think it would be a good idea to start building on this. We're going into year 3. let's build this. Let's really actually start to try to make some money. Let's make some moves to really start trying to make some money. We have the logos. I haven't pulled any triggers on the merch thing because I'm not going to do that yet till we actually have interest. I'm not going to waste that money. Um, I guess just make this more of a professional outfit. You know, treat it. If I want this to be a job, I need to treat it like a job, not a hobby. You know, um, maybe find out other things that I can do with it here. You know, see if there's other, you know, because I know Bob you mentioned something like, sorry, I'm sleeping all of a sudden. It was like an investigative discovery kind of thing, right? Like researching a topic and doing like not like a report, but kind of like a report. And I was like, I mean, I'll think about it. And I never thought about it. Why not? It's more content. It's more eyes on it. It's something, and it's something. If I'm doing it, it'll be interesting. You know, um, I would say on the other side too is get more input from you. Actually, you know, I sometimes feel like I just take the show and I walk with it instead of like, hey, what do we want to do? And that's on me. And it's not because there's any animosity, any negative feelings. I'm just, hey, here's a thought. I'm excited. Ooh, let's do a thing. And that's not really how you want to do a show. So this isn't like a public apology, but it's also like a, hey, I need to be more cognizant that this is a two-man show. And I don't need to grab the show by its hand and pull it and just rope you in. You know, we need to be a team and I need to treat it as a team. I don't need to, I don't know. I don't really know how to put it because it's not anything, there's no negativity thing with it. I just get excited and I'm like, ooh, a squirrel. And I just run to it. I'm like, hey, you want to come with me to go get the squirrel? You're like, sure. I'm like, all right, let's go fuck the squirrel or get the squirrel or bang the squirrel. I don't know.
I mean, none of the topics are. It's not like I just totally disagree. Like I'm sitting here, dreading like anything that you bring up and you say, "Hey, we're going to talk about it." I'm not, in total disagreement. I'm just like, okay, let's go. So I mean, myself, I have to actually provide more input. You don't have to pull that out of me. I need to. I think with the reduction after of course, football is only last for a couple more weeks, but pay
Don't
more
talk about it.
attention
I'm very sad about it.
getting depressed.
A little bit.
Less shows. I mean, more focus on this one. Have some more time. I mean, I am you know occupied throughout the day, so I don't get a lot of time to just sit around and muster up ideas. But
And that's part of
I
it
need
too.
to.
That's kind of why I do it too, because I don't want to bother you. And I'm like, I'm not gonna bother him, but I'm also like, he has a big person job, dude. I don't want to like mess with him because he doesn't have the time. Like that's how I think I play it out in my head instead of just like, hey, friend, uh, you have time to chat about something. But I just don't want to bother you.
See, yeah, throughout the day while I'm working, yeah, that's probably not a good time. I mean, I'm not going to respond to too many texts. I mean, if I get like one or two and then it keeps going, then I'm just going to shut off because I have my focus has to be somewhere else, So,
Right.
and that time I'm paid for. So, I do have to make that my number one priority until we can get this to a point where, we can substantiate our income off of it or live off of it. But right now, I mean, again, the number one priority is my, job that I currently have. So, but I have to get, some more ideas out and not, so much that you feel like you have to, come up with a lot of stuff because it's not like, I mean, you just only been out of, work for just recently. It's not like
Yeah.
you didn't have a job as well. So you were doing, you had a job throughout the day and you still made time to make the subjects and put everything together and get the exposure. Now the social media thing, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. I can try
It's
to do some more. I
it's
just
fine, dude.
don't.
Don't you,
I
you know what?
don't. I don't. I don't engage. I just don't.
Well, and that's the thing. And I would appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that, because instead of you saying, "I'll give it a shot," and it's like, dude, it's not your bag. It's not your skill set. It's not your desire. Like, even like it would be one of those things where it's like, hey, we're about to break up if because you're not cleaning the house. Baby, I'll clean the house. I promise. You do it for like 3 days, and then day 4 and 5, you're taking a shit on the kitchen floor, and it's like, what are you doing? I'm not cleaning that up. It's like, God damn it. All right. So it's better just to be upfront and be like, dude, it is not my thing. I'm all set.
I'm not on the social platforms. I'm just.
Either was I till I started doing this. Like, don't get that twisted. Like, I didn't have a Twitter, I didn't have a Facebook, I didn't have an Instagram, I didn't have any of that stuff. I did not care. But I'm like, okay, this is gonna be my.
I didn't touch it, and I actually did my best to stay away from it, to ignore it as much as I could.
Oh, it's awful. It is awful. It's awful. Oh my god, it's so bad. It is so bad.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm not
god,
gonna
it's
say
so
I
bad.
despise, but I used to not even downplay, but almost talk down or talk bad to my ex and my daughter, because they were so on to the social media, all you, I would, openly bash the social sites, man, y'all just looking to get seen, you need attention, blah blah blah, and I think the most social platform I'm probably on is Instagram, because it's less talking, it's just pictures, and
And
pictures says
bitches.
thousands, yeah, tons.
And it's just
But
funny, like
it's
how the turns have tabled. You know, it's like literally like this is what we need. We need exposure, and it's just so funny how that shit works. But it's much different though, because we're running a business. Because
yeah.
I think we forget that too, and I think that also needs to be in our podcastality kind of goal. We need to remember this isn't act. This is the business.
Yeah. We're not
I mean, it's
we're
not
not
giant Google.
posting we're not post pictures and showing you ribs in a plate and saying, look what I ate. We're not doing that
Right.
silly shit. It's actual, cleaver clips of trying to help, trying to entice you to tune in, or see if you like a certain clip, or do we agree with what you like, or even if you hate what we're saying, because any clickbait is good bait.
Yeah.
So even if you hate us or you hate our point, at least you're tuning in
You watched me,
so you
bitch.
can cuss us out as we say it.
Well, you know what? And I think also what I need to really start doing here too is promoting it more, promoting it better, giving it a better description, putting more work into it. Like actually, like make my own clips as well. You know, with the automated ones that happen, really kind of highlight what we're doing here, because I think there are probably a lot of people out there that have no idea, you know, what we actually are talking about, because we are a bit sporadic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I know with this one we pretty much got right into the nitty gritty of it pretty quick, so you kind of learned what you're gonna get, you know, pretty quick, and whether you're tuning in or not, that's on you. But I think at least, you know, for me, whatever. I'm not going to speak for you. That's rude. I need to keep like a dream board or cork board or whatever, and just realize, hey, this is a business that you help start. You need to treat it as a business. You do not want to throw away the last 2.5 years or however long it's been at this point. I don't even remember. Um, no, it's not. It's a year and a half, I think. Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. Yeah. You don't want to
Yeah,
throw away
because it
that.
was April, so it's like Easter
Yeah.
weekend, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
here we go.
Easter, motherfucker. It was Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I
good.
mean, the same thing you said, like, every time I have a buddy, either come over or I got my brother or something, I'm like, first thing they say is, "Wow, you on YouTube?" I'm like, that's not really a big accomplishment, but we're here. It is, and then I start playing the pod, and like they are like, I guess the subjects aren't outlined because, like you said, it kind of jumps all over the place, and then they say, like, they don't come out and say what are y'all talking about, but it's kind of like you
It's
get that
inferred.
inquisitive face. It's that face like, okay, y'all jump from this subject to this subject,
Right.
just keeping it a little more streamlined. Yeah, I mean, we both got to do a better job of
I mean,
not
how many
being so
times have we
sporadic.
got onto this and talked about whatever for the first 10 minutes, and there's no like it's essentially like opening up a book and going to page 3 before you read page 1.
Yeah, no
You know,
introduction or yeah.
at least bare minimum say, "Hey guys, X and O's life, yada yada. Here's what we got going on here today. We're going to be talking about this and this and this. But before we get into that, let's kind of cover this quick little one hitter and then kind of move
It's
forward."
like it's like writing a paper for college or something. You got to get in there, get your thesis statement.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to talk about. This, and this, and then go have at it. So, we both got to get there in the beginning to outline what we're going to talk about, and that it lets a listener or a viewer. I don't like their subjects. Probably going to tune them out. Or like their subjects. I want to hear furthermore about this. Or
Right.
I don't really like their subject, but I like
I like
watching the
that.
show. I've seen them. Yeah. So I'm going to still listen to it, even though it's not a subject that I'm particularly interested in.
Which, also allows us whenever we hit that kind of, and it's not going to happen every single time, but we outline what we're going to do, and then we do by the way, the quick hitter, and that quick hitter is like, oh shit, okay, hold on, I don't really care about the initial thing, but I'm interested to hear what they have to say about this. And then you fuck around and you just have it on the background and you're listening, and you're like, oh, I mean, I didn't really care necessarily, but now I'm not going to die because I listened to it, but I'm also I perked up a few times. So yeah, I think that's definitely we have some adult work to do. I think it's time's over with hobby. Let's kind of XYZ. Let's really grow this bitch. Let's have some fun with it. Treat it like you treat your work, man. Like that's how I'm gonna say it. Let's treat it like how you treat your work. Your fun business. Die in a fire. Like, don't die in the fire. I mean, like, that's shitty. Don't that's scary. But I think I think I don't want to say we got complacent, but it's like, all right, we're at 100 subs on YouTube,
Well,
which
I
is not,
mean, I don't
you
know.
know,
The football, it just goes so many different directions. It's like,
oh well, yeah,
yeah, I
that's
mean,
you
it's
can't
just
do
like,
anything about that.
yeah,
We're trying to
that's like,
format it.
what are the
We have it.
news and all that, and we jump into it because we're so passionate about it. But yeah, this is our baby. We gotta just put
I think.
more,
Hold on.
effort
I think
into this one.
football we got a good. I think football we got a good outline of it because we have our
Yeah,
structure. We do the waivers when we first go on tomorrow. It's we go over the waivers. We hit the news that happened. Speak on a little bit of the shenanigans that happened on the week prior. I mean,
get
obviously
into
that's
the
going to
matchups.
be a little bit more heavy. And then we get to the early matchups, and then the next show we talk about what happened on Thursday and the late matchups and any lingering news that happened. So I think we did figure out a good structure for football, and it just always runs because we are passionate. So unless we added more shows into it, you know, I don't know if there's much more content we can jam in there because I don't want to like add content just to add content, but we could because God bless
No, I'm not
America, we
saying
got
that we need to add more content. I'm just saying that I don't know if that just being as loose as we are on the football is bleeding over into this one where it's like we're like super loose, where we're not really dropping a
Okay.
structure, but the football does have the structure. But
I see what you're saying.
it's almost like I don't know. Football it's the show, but at the same time, it's hard to get away from it being a hobby because football is a hobby,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So and just watching and playing fantasy
That's a
and all
good
that,
point,
it's
man.
a
That is a
hobby.
good point. And it's funny.
But
It's
when we
actually
get to
funny.
this, you know, I mean, I don't know. We gotta make sure we're outlined and
Yeah.
on point. Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny because it's almost like we took the bad part and brought it over here instead of the good part. Instead of the good part of football. We're like, hey, here's the negative stuff. Let's bring it over here. Yeah, I know we started to do structures and things like that, and maybe what we can start doing is planning. I mean, not saying plan a month ahead exactly, but kind of have. I don't know. We'll talk on Christmas because you're coming over for all that. And, we'll
Mhm.
kind of. I think that's more of a conversation having in real time than
Right here on
But
the
yeah,
pod. Yeah.
but I do know one thing we did get right with the show. Okay, one real good thing. We are animal lovers. And we like to feed
Animal
on
friendly.
animal friendly, except when it's like food time. Then it's like, hey, if it clucks or mood, you're gonna have a bad time.
What did we say last time? We was like feed them ducks, and then you said throw them ducks or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was
That goes
somewhere like the ducks were part of it. It was
Oh, I hope it wasn't throw them ducks. So that just goes directly against the
what you
animal
just
love
said.
part.
No, it was like I don't know what we ended with, but we were talking about ducks somehow, and we finished it out. Great
I feel
show.
like
Thank you for listening, everybody.
I feel like there was duck poop involved. I'm not sure. That's how we're gonna end it though, with a upward inflection of duck poop. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for spending some time with us. See y'all tomorrow.